Santa here. You know, the true spirit of Christmas is giving, and my friend Danny McGee knows that very well. His annual toy run with the Agape Projects helps bring joy to children who need it most. But to reach this year's $80,000 goal, we need everyone's help. So grab your cocoa, hop online, and make your donation at theagapeprojects.org. Together, let's fill hearts and stockings with love. Hey everyone, it's Rich Bennett. Can you believe it? The show is turning 10 this year. I am so grateful for each and every one of you who've tuned in, shared an episode, or even joined the conversation over the years. You're the reason that this podcast has grown into what it is today. Together, we've shared laughs, tears, and moments that truly matter. So I want to thank you for being part of this journey. Let's make the next 10 years even better.
Coming to you from the Freedom Federal Credit Union Studios, Harford County Living presents Conversations with Rich Bennett.
Slow pitch
It's probably the least sexy part of the work, and I don't That's okay. No. The truth is,
what happens when a neurologist spends decades not just treating the brain, but listening to the whispers of the human spirit behind every diagnosis? Today's guest, Dr. Carolyn Larkin Taylor, is a board-certified neurologist with over 30 years of experience, a pioneer among the first women to graduate from Notre Dame, and the author of Whispers of the Mind, a neurologist's memoir. From earning honors like Philadelphia's Humanist in Medicine Award to founding groundbreaking centers for neurology and MS care in the Pacific Northwest, Carolyn has dedicated her career to both healing and advocacy. Now she's turning her profound experiences into stories that reveal the resilience, hope, and humanity within medicine. So get ready to hear a powerful conversation about life, loss, and the extraordinary lessons learned from walking alongside patients and families at their most vulnerable moments. All right, I got to ask first, do you go by Dr. Carolyn, Dr. Taylor, Carolyn? What do you like to go by?
Well, please call me Carolyn.
All right. Not Carol.
No, Carolyn.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure. All right. So before we hit the record, you said something that threw me back, because you're in Washington now, but where are you from originally?
New Jersey.
What part of Jersey?
The Jersey Shore, Monmouth County, a little town called Spring Lake.
Yes. Have you ever heard of Naval Weapons Station Earl in Colts Neck?
Yes.
I was stationed there. That was my first duty station when I was in the Marine Corps. Used to go to Asbury Park all the time.
Yes.
And I forget the exit, but the exit's right there. I think at Freehold. Every time I come off the turnpike and took that exit, it smelled like a coffee factory.
Really?
Yes. To this day, I don't know if there was a coffee factory there or not.
Yeah. I don't know. I have a brother that lives in Colts Neck now.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
All right. So what drew you out to Washington?
An accident. We went, I did my training in Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
And Philadelphia is kind of like that big black hole where people go for training. They have 7 medical schools there.
Wow.
And you just kind of stay there. You just get sucked up into this place. And I love Philadelphia, but I married during that time, and my husband had been from a military family.
Okay.
So he lived all over, and the longest place he lived was Newport News, Virginia.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And so we never decided to live there. We just kind of stayed because we got busy working. And we went to a wedding in Austin, Texas, where my husband was the best man. And we met someone there from Bellingham, Washington. And we were curious. I said, I've always wanted to see the Pacific Northwest. Mm-hmm. I've never been out there. What's it like? And so he said, well, let me tell you, because we've been trying to recruit a neurologist to to our area for 5 years.
Really?
I'll tell you all about it, and we'll invite you out to take a look. And of course, it was summer when we went out to take a look, and
right.
It's gorgeous here in the summer. And we went out on the boats and toured the islands, and it was balmy 70 degrees, and the sun came up at 5 a.m. and didn't set until after 10 at night. It was just beautiful.
Wow.
And so they kind of wooed us all year. And finally we decided, we're just going to pick up and go. And we came out here 25 years ago and never left.
Well, I take it you couldn't, because I'm sure you got that job as the neurologist there, right?
Yeah, but I kind of moved around from there.
Okay.
I took that job at the hospital for 2 years, and a group of us kind of rebelled against the way the administration was telling us what to do. So we all went out and formed a private practice of specialists in the area. And I did that, and I ended up opening an MS center because we didn't have one up here in this part of Northwest Washington.
Wow.
And I was here for until 15 years.
Okay.
And then I left to take a more academic position in Seattle. And the distance is such that a lot of my patients could follow me there.
Right.
And I worked there until like 2022 for like 7 years. And now I'm semi-retired, but I've kind of done a little bit of everything.
You'll never be fully retired. You can't now because you've written a book, and now you're an entrepreneur as well. So,
right.
All right,
yeah.
2 questions.
I have to do something.
What's that?
I have to do something.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, the thing, it's funny because I know a lot of people that have retired, so they say, but it seems like they're busier ever since they retired. Either if they're not working, then they're volunteering full time, it seems like.
Yeah.
I actually have 2 questions for you, and I'm just going to go as long as you want on here. Number 1, why neurology? And number 2, what drew you to help out with MS?
Well, I was an optometrist first.
All right. What is that?
It's a 4-year doctorate program after college where you just practice optometry. You examine eyes.
Oh, God, I could use you right now. Okay.
But you're not an MD. You don't do surgery.
Okay.
You're an OD, doctor of optometry. And I was frustrated in that field because I worked with ophthalmologists. I worked with a pediatric ophthalmologist, and we did a lot of work with young infants who had cataract surgery, and I would fit them with contact lenses. And I did a lot of things that were a little out of the ordinary. And I was frustrated with not being able to do more. So after practicing for 3 years, I went back and went to medical school and then got an MD degree. And my original goal was to be an ophthalmologist. But when I did my rotations in medical school and ophthalmology, I thought, this isn't fun. This is the same thing I did before.
Right.
Only I would be doing surgery a few mornings a week. And I really didn't like the surgery. So when I rotated through neurology, as you rotate through various specialties in medical school, you can pick a subspecialty. Like if you're interested in dermatology, you can do a month with them. There's so many months of rotations you're required to do. And one of them was neurology. And I just fell in love with neurology. It was, it combined the really neurology and psychiatry because there's so much intertwined with the mind and the brain.
Right.
And emotions. And it was more of a diagnostic puzzle. So I'll never forget that my first exposure to a neurologist, I was spending the day in the VA where we were sent to do a rotation. And this neurologist sat there for an hour and did a history, just asked more and more questions and spent an entire hour. And then he did this cursory, it looked like a cursory exam, but you have to really know neuroanatomy to know what he was doing to try to get to all the various parts of the nervous system in this 10-minute exam. And, he said to me afterwards, I knew what he had with my history. I was just doing the exam to confirm it. And that's the beauty of neurology. It's, you take a lot of time, you do a history, and if you really listen to the patient,
right,
you can ask the right questions and kind of figure out what's wrong. And then you use technology to confirm it.
Interesting.
It's very interesting. And back when I originally trained, I just had these incredible professors of neurology that loved neurology and would tell us these stories. And as the years have gone by and I see the students coming out now, it seems like they're relying more on technology.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get a referral for a consult for another opinion, and I'll see that a patient has had every test in the world. They've had an MRI of every part of their nervous system, and they've had biopsies and blood work. And nobody, if they had sat down and really listened to the patient and did a really long history, they could have streamlined those tests very easily and said, well, you don't need the spine. You just need the brain, or you don't even need that. You need something else.
Right.
A neuropsychological exam, because this is something that sounds more like dementia or depression. And that's the beauty of it. It's like solving a puzzle. It's like being a Sherlock Holmes. If you really know your anatomy and really know people.
So it sounds to me like the old ways that they taught is still a lot better than any technology today, especially if you ain't using the old ways, like sitting down and getting the history and everything.
Yeah. You have to, the technology is great. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
But I think more and more doctors are getting away from listening to the patient, touching the patient, putting a hand on someone's shoulder.
Right.
When you're delivering bad news can go a long way towards healing and compassion, and the patient feeling validated, feeling like someone cares, feeling like they can trust this individual with their illness. And I think today with the corporatization of medicine, more and more physicians, you're seeing private practice go away, and more physicians are working for hospitals. And increasingly, the hospitals that are not run by physicians are telling the physicians how much time they can spend with the patient. And by the way, you have to put everything in the electronic medical record while you're visiting with the patient, because there's no time at the end of the day to do it. So they're not looking at the patient anymore. They're typing. And it's, there's something lost there. You're not looking at the patient. You're not forming that bond. You're not forming that trust. And the doctor comes away feeling dehumanized because they didn't get a chance to really connect with that patient the way they were taught to and the way they want to. And I think that's responsible for a lot of the burnout of physicians.
Right.
Because you're hemmed in. There's nothing else you can do. You've got to produce so many, what we call RVUs, relative value units per day. You have to get your dictation in within 48 hours or you won't get paid for the visit. You have to spend all this time now on the phone talking to insurance companies, not only to get approval for something that's unusual, but now with some insurances, every MRI you order, you have to call the insurance company
and ask for it.
And a lot of this is to deter the physician from ordering the tests because they don't have the time then to sit there and wait on the phone to get approval.
That's ridiculous. So it sounds like to me that now the doctors are spending maybe 5 minutes with the patient and taking an hour to 2 hours just for the paperwork and everything else. And it's taking that connection away.
The precious time you have with that individual. And that's why most of us went into medicine, because we want to connect with people and we want to help people. And so the doctors are just hamstrung there. And you're seeing an increasing revolt against it, but big insurance companies are dictating the rules. And recently I heard, I'm not going to mention the insurance company, but one of the insurance companies, as of October 25th of this year, is going to automatically down code there's a level 1 through 5 for the visit in terms of when you bill. in terms of complexity. And you can bill based on complexity, or you can bill based on time. So if it's a very complex case, or you spend an hour with the patient, that might be a level 5. If you spend 15 minutes with the case and they're just coming in for like a med check, that might be a level 3.
Right.
So they are automatically going to down code every level 4 or 5 to a 3. And if you believe, even no matter how much time you spent with the patient, you could be delivering a death sentence to the patient. You could be counseling 5 family members with the patient. No matter what you've done, it's automatically no higher than a 3. And if you think that is unfair, you have to send in all your patient records and write up a big appeal to get a higher amount. So if they get away with that, then all the insurance companies are going to do that. You're going to see this mass exodus of physicians from, participating in these insurance plans. So it's a battle, and it's like the frog that you put in water and then slowly turn up the temperature till he's boiling.
Why do they want to take away the caring part? That makes no sense. And when I say caring, I mean for the doctors caring about. But time is.
That's everything.
God.
And this isn't physician driven. This is corporation driven.
All right, Carolyn, what can we do to change this?
Let people know about it. The patients have to complain. So if the doctors refuse to participate in an insurance plan, then the patients having that insurance plan are going to complain, or they're going to leave that plan and go somewhere else. And so the word is trying to get the word out there to other physicians, what's coming is important. But I find a lot of the doctors that I've spoken to since I learned about this in the last month, aren't even aware that this is coming down.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So there's so much that goes on. And there was a case of this young man, as you know, that assassinated the head of a big insurance company. And I don't condone that in any way. Right. But there's a lot of anger that goes on. Patients get angry because of what, is happening to them. And it's just this big conglomerate that's increasingly more and more difficult for patients to navigate. And physicians as well. Physicians, I think, a lot of them have left private practice for the corporate world because all this got too burdensome. And at least in a corporate setting, someone else was managing that for you. But increasingly, the insurance company is putting that on doctors. For instance, they'll say, we will no longer speak with your office manager or your nurse about approving this particular test. The doctor themselves has to call us.
Oh, good Lord.
And then you try to make this call between patients, and you're put on hold, and the patient's waiting, and your time is being used up, holding. And it's all to deter us from ordering as many tests, I think.
I would think that, personally, if I was in the field, if I was a doctor, I would have had enough, and I would have changed careers. Are you seeing a lot of doctors doing that?
I am.
Wow, that's sad.
I'm seeing more and more doctors retire in their late 50s, early 60s, and they used to stay in longer.
It's sad to see that these corporations are basically chasing these good doctors out.
Yes.
And that a lot of people aren't even aware of this.
Yes. So I think it's more insurance company driven because insurance companies keep lowering the reimbursements, and they're getting richer and richer.
Right.
Premiums are going up. The CEOs are making exorbitant amount of money, and they keep trying to find ways to save money. Mm-hmm. So they squeeze the hospitals, and the hospitals squeeze the doctors, and everybody's just struggling to stay afloat.
God.
And with the loss of Medicaid in so many parts of the country, especially rural areas, you're going to start to see whole hospitals just close down because they can't make it. Their margins are very slim as it is.
Wow. All right. So what drew you to MS? Because I think that's amazing. There's a lot of things out there that when I hear of people that are basically doing what they can to help people, whether it be MS, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, right away, they earn my respect. So what actually drew you to that?
Well, I had a lot of eye experience when I came into neurology. And so MS involves the eye tremendously, double vision, optic neuritis. It's often the first presentation of MS, and it affects young people. So in the community where I worked initially, a suburb of Philadelphia, I was at a large academic hospital. I just started to get a reputation for, if you want a neurologist that really can examine the eye and knows, what to do with optic neuritis, send them to this person.
Right.
So I started seeing more and more optic neuritis and diagnosing MS more and more. And there's so much we can do for MS today. Have this young individual at the prime of their life that is looking at possibly a lifetime of disability. And it doesn't have to be that way anymore.
Yeah.
Because you can be aggressive early on with MS, and we have so many new treatments that I love to take care of it. I love to do it. And so the word kind of spread in the community that she really likes to take care of our conditions. So I just developed more and more patients with MS. So by the time I left this practice to move out west, 80% of my practice was MS.
Really?
I just loved it. So when I came here, of course I did general neurology because I love it all, but I kind of specialized in MS. I love to treat it.
Wow. So have you, since you've been treating it, have you seen, because when I hear MS, I think, now I'm going to share my age. I think Annette Funicello,
Yes.
and also now Christina Applegate. But have you seen a lot of improvements since you started focusing on it?
Oh, absolutely. When I was a resident in neurology, all we could do for MS at that point was steroids. And that just gets you through the acute phase of an attack.
Right.
So MS is a condition where you have recurrent attacks of inflammation in the central nervous system that come and go. And each attack leaves you with some damage. Ooh. So all steroids do was kind of get you through that acute phase of the attack, but it has no effect at all on how much damage you're going to sustain as a result of the attack. And so in my last year of training, they came out with the very first drug that was a disease modifier. It was an interferon that a patient could actually take to prevent attacks.
Oh.
And since then, there's about 13 to 15 drugs that have come out, all with different mechanisms of action to prevent patients from having attacks to begin with.
Interesting.
It's very interesting. So there's different forms of MS. Some are more aggressive than others.
Right.
When we talk about Annette Funicello, she had a very aggressive form.
Yeah.
But the majority of patients have what we call a relapsing remitting form. And those are very amenable to treatment with most of these drugs.
All right. So what type is it that Christina Applegate has? Do you know?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. I just, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but haven't you also worked with people with Parkinson's as well?
Yes.
All right.
I've always taken care of a lot of Parkinson patients.
Really? Okay. So have you seen, and I think there's been a big improvement, and correct me if I'm wrong, ever since Michael J. Fox was diagnosed with Parkinson's, and he created that foundation. So it just seems like there's been so much more, I guess you could say, advancement helping people with it.
Well, there has been.
Okay.
There has been. He's been able to raise a lot of money for Parkinson research.
Right.
And he's been like the poster child for Parkinson's to let people know what Parkinson's is, because they identify it with Michael J. Fox, and he's so positive.
Yes.
He wrote that book called "I'm a Lucky Man," and he gets out there and he works and he promotes. As disabled as he is, his mind is still there, and he's been wonderful at promoting treatments for Parkinson's and hope, I think. And so there has been a lot of research that has been useful and things that have come out for Parkinson's. There's deep brain stimulation surgery, and there's surgery with ultrasound, and there's novel medications. We don't have a cure for it, but it's the kind of thing that you can live with for a very long time. And there's a lot that medicine can do to keep you moving and going at a good, useful life, I think.
And it seems like you're seeing people that get it, especially if they're diagnosed earlier, even with MS, it seems like they are living longer because of all this. You think?
I do.
Okay. Which is a good thing.
People that get Parkinson's when they're younger tend to have a more benign course for a very long time. Mm-hmm. Whereas the older individual that gets Parkinson's, they tend to advance much more quickly.
Yeah.
But there's no two patients alike. Every patient is just a little bit different. And with MS, the thing about MS is the earlier we diagnose it and get someone on one of these treatments, the better they do. They can literally go on in their life with no disability. They still have the disease. We haven't cured it, but we can go a long way to kind of putting it in a form of remission.
In the beginning, in the introduction, I mentioned the award, the Philadelphia's Humanist and Medicine Award. What is that?
Well, that surprised me too. I went to
it's always nice to be surprised sometimes, right?
It is. I went to I was told to go to a meeting of the Philadelphia County Medical Society.
I like that you were told to.
Yeah, I was told to, and I think I was a senior in medical school, and I was told to go to the meeting because I won this award that year. Mm-hmm. And I think what happened was a group of medical students that I'd worked with, or maybe I was an intern. No, I was a senior medical student, had nominated me for this because of the way of what they observed or the way I treated them and things like that. I didn't know, but I was just nominated for this and given the award. So it's one of my proudest awards.
All right. Did they make you give a speech?
Gosh. Yes, but it was something really short.
I was going to say, because I would have been all tongue-tied and everything.
I had no idea. I had no idea what this was all about.
Wow.
Except I do what I'm told. So I was told I should go to this meeting.
So back in high school, is this something you always wanted to do?
I got the idea in high school.
Okay.
Yes. I think I was inspired by my sophomore biology teacher who had just come back from the Peace Corps.
Oh.
And he told stories all year about Peace Corps, and he'd show us slides. Everybody's so enthusiastic when they come back. So my idea then, what I wanted to do really was go into the Peace Corps. And then I just got started with, all kinds of ideas along that vein. And I even did join the Peace Corps at one point, right out of college, because that had always been in my mind. I was going to go. I was assigned to Botswana as a tuberculosis control officer. But someone in my family became very ill and I couldn't go. And then I got all caught up in, going to professional school, and I never got back to that. So I thought when I retired someday I would.
I was going to say, you still got plenty of time.
I know, but I can't leave my Bernese Mountain Dog or my Golden Retriever that long. Their lives are short.
Well, okay. I'm a dog. I love dogs, but Golden Retrievers always have to have a playmate, don't they? Or am I?
Yeah, that's why we have two.
You have two Golden Retrievers.
No. One Golden Retriever and a Bernese Mountain Dog.
Aren't those the Bernese Mountain Dog? Isn't that the one that gets as big as a horse?
Big as a pony. Yeah.
Those things are huge.
They're huge.
Well, I bet you love it.
120 pounds.
I bet you love it in the wintertime, though, right?
Oh, I do. I do.
Sits at your feet, keeps your feet warm. All right, so
he's a big baby.
You're listening to Conversations with Rich Bennett. We'll be right back. If you're looking for a way to unwind and relax after a long day, go to the place that I go to. Look no further than Serenity Salt Spa. Their state-of-the-art facility offers a variety of services to help you de-stress and rejuvenate. You can step into their salt room and let the healing properties of salt therapy work their magic on your mind and body, or try one of their massages to ease tension and promote deep relaxation. At Serenity Salt Spa, they believe that self-care is essential for a happy and healthy life. Book your appointment today and experience the ultimate in relaxation. You know they're good. The reviews say it all. Otherwise, they would not have earned the Harford County Living stamp of approval. Go to serenitysaltspa.net. Again, that's serenitysaltspa.net. Or give them a call at 443-640-6020. Again, that's 443-640-6020. I want to get into the book. What made you decide it? And it's a memoir, right?
Yes.
What made you decide that you wanted to write a memoir?
Well, all during my career, I journaled.
Mm-hmm.
When I would run into a situation that was just heart-wrenching, emotionally draining, I would, you have to, if you have a bad outcome, you have to just go on you have to compartmentalize and go on to the next patient and the next patient. You can't just retreat because something bad happened.
Right.
And so I would go home and I would write about it. And I journaled. And when something in my own life was happening that was difficult to deal with, I would write about it. And looking back, I think even as a kid, when I was upset about something or my dog died or something like that, I would sit down and I would write. And that was my way of coping. So when I was able to take some time after I left private practice, or not private practice, but the clinical practice, I sat down and read through this journal, and I was really amazed looking over the years, because I started in medical school all through my career, not only how I transformed as a physician during those years, but the incredible, inspiring stories of these people that I took care of that were so brave and inspiring to me.
Yeah.
That I wanted to tell their stories because I thought they would help inspire other people. And, at the end of the day, it's the story of a person, a real person.
Right.
That sticks with you, that teaches you, because it's one thing to read about Parkinson's disease in a textbook. It's another thing to associate that with Michael J. Fox and his story.
Yeah.
And you put a person to that disease, and it means so much more. That's why we all know so much more about Parkinson's, and like you, that isn't there more research being done and
right.
all the things because of Michael J. Fox. And so I wanted to write the stories of my patients that were inspiring.
So and I know there's several, but one that you can think of right offhand, what's one of the stories that really stand out to you?
Oh, well, they were all kind of incredible.
Yeah.
I'll tell this story. This is a favorite story of mine.
Okay.
This is a dog story.
Oh,
because speaking of golden retrievers, my book is a series of essays, so they all stand alone. And one of my essays is called Prancer Tales. And that's a story of this golden retriever, Prancer, that worked by my side as a therapy animal for patients for 14 years. And it's incredible that she lived 14 years, but
for a golden retriever.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was incredible.
Yeah.
So she kind of came to me by accident and was in my office as a puppy, and everybody wanted to see her because they heard this puppy howling for me. And so it was just going to be something temporary, but she was so good with patients and just calmed people down that were afraid. And that I took her for training, and I got her certified by the Pet Partners program to be under their umbrella of insurance. So I was free to take her into the hospital, to infusion centers in my office, and could work with patients. It's like the dogs that are taken to disaster centers.
Yeah.
They're all therapy dogs that are trained. So she was trained to gently scratch on the door if she wanted to come in. And I would ask the patient if they wanted her. If they didn't, I wouldn't answer the door, and she'd just lay down outside.
Oh, wow.
And so one day I was seeing a young man that had been left quadriplegic from the neck down from a motorcycle accident. And he was in the middle of the room in his electric wheelchair. And his entire family were sitting around the room on chairs and exam tables and anywhere they could. And there were so many people in the room that I left the door open, but I forgot about Prancer. And she was used to scratching on the door. So I didn't have much to offer this young man except, spasticity management, bowel bladder management. I mean, I certainly couldn't cure him.
Right.
And all of a sudden, he just looked past me with tears in his eyes at the door. And I turned and I saw Prancer, and I said, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't tell you. We have a therapy dog on the premises. I'm really sorry." And with that, he said, "I love dogs so much." Now, he didn't say a word the entire visit.
Right.
His family history, he just sat there not talking. He said, "I love dogs so much. I would give anything if I could just pet that dog."
Oh, God.
And with that, now Prancer obeyed hand signals and voice.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody said a word. You could hear a pin drop in that room. Prancer got up, slowly walked over to him, sat next to his wheelchair, and put her muzzle right on his lap on his hands.
Oh, God.
And she stayed there for the entire hour. There wasn't a dry eye in the room. And that dog did more for that young man that day than I ever could have. She was amazing. I could go on and on with stories about her, but that's one of them. And my last essay is called "Thank You for Your Service," and it was a eulogy to Prancer.
Oh.
I told some of the great stories about her, but that dog touched many, many people. And I had patients that I would see regularly, people with chronic things like MS or Parkinson's, that would call and say, "I want to be sure Prancer's there for my appointment."
Oh, wow.
I'm going to reschedule. They had to see her.
Yeah.
And she was just wonderful. So that's one of my favorite stories. But in this book, there's something for everyone.
Yeah.
I tell a story of a patient with Huntington's disease and a young woman with a brain tumor, and that when she found out she was going to die, that the therapy hadn't worked. All she could think about was her mother, and how was she going to tell her mother, and how to be strong for her mother.
Oh, wow.
And the brave people with ALS, and so many, and stories about medical gaslighting.
Medical gaslighting?
Yes.
All right, explain that.
Well,
I keep hearing this term gaslighting, and I still don't know what it is.
It took me a while to figure it out too. But when it happens to you, it's like when you go to see a doctor and they are listening to you, but they're not really taking you seriously.
Okay.
You can see something in their eyes, or a little smirk, or well, maybe you're just stressed, and you feel dismissed.
Mm-hmm.
So you feel like, I guess it's all in my mind. It's not. It's nothing. I shouldn't have even come. I feel they make you feel stupid for even coming to them or bringing up the problem.
Oh, wow.
That can be like a form of gaslighting.
Okay.
And I tell stories. It's a memoir because it's like I bring the patient, the reader, into the exam room with me.
I like
and
that.
To the bedside with me with the patient, so that they feel what it's like to examine that patient and deal with the family. And I deal with 4 episodes in my own life where I dealt with a neurologic illness of a family member. So it was the death of my mother and the death of my father and the death of my brother. They're all separate things, but they all died of neurologic illness. And I was there, and the only physician in the family, the one that had to kind of orchestrate it, and the difficulty of that.
Yeah.
And how that changed me as a physician, actually. So I've got those memoir issues in there, but I deal with, again, these inspiring patient stories of seeing a young man in the hospital. When we consult as neurologists in the hospital, it's usually not for something good.
Right.
No, it's usually because we have to do the brain death exam after a trauma, or there's been an overdose and we are called in to do a brain death exam and to talk with the family, or a devastating stroke. So I bring the reader into the bedside with me for some of those difficult situations. And I also deal a lot with addiction. I deal
really?
With all forms of addiction. I deal with the patient that is enabled by their famous husband, who can take them to all kinds of doctors and get their loved one drugs for her headache, but her problem is really addiction and the devastating consequences that has. And I deal with addiction in the young man who finally had that final overdose that failed all the rehab, and the family at this point is so exhausted that they don't even come into the hospital. And I deal with addiction from a young woman who's the typical soccer mom living in suburbia with her nice home and 3 kids, and she's addicted to nitrous oxide that she is sniffing.
Wow.
Just to get through her day, and the devastating consequences that had on her nervous system.
I never heard that before.
Yeah. There's a lot of interesting things in neurology, but the book deals with every aspect. So there's Parkinson's, there's brain death, there's death with dignity, the issue of somebody that's got such a devastating illness and they're suffering so much that decides to take their own life.
Right.
And so there's sadness, but there's some funny things in the book as well.
Yeah.
As a medical student, I was exposed to this woman that in an epilepsy center was having 100 seizures a day. She had
Good Lord.
Severe epilepsy. And it was so bad. She was on so many drugs. She had to wear a helmet because she kept falling and hitting her head, that she literally couldn't go out of the house.
Wow.
So they did a surgery, one of the early surgeries for epilepsy, where they actually make a cut through the connection between the left and right brain.
Mm-hmm.
And they partially cut it. And what that does is it prevents the electrical activity from one side of the brain to spread to the other side. So the brain goes up in this electrical storm. That's why people lose consciousness with the seizure.
Okay.
You can have a focal seizure in one part of the brain and somebody might twitch or their arm might shake, but they're conscious. But once it spreads to both sides of the brain, like an electric spark would, that's not compatible with consciousness. So this individual was so devastated by these seizures. So the first surgery didn't work. So they went back in and cut the connection between the 2 hemispheres of the brain a little bit more. And the seizure stopped, which was wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
But now her left and right brain were no longer connected.
Oh.
So she would, for instance, it was almost like there was 2 personalities.
Yeah.
So the right side of the brain was the uninhibited side, and the left side of the brain was the logical, practical side. So with her right brain, she'd light a cigarette. The left brain would put it out. the right hand would start putting it out because the left brain controls the right side of the body. A handsome young resident walked into the room because this was in a hospital setting. A group of medical students were around this woman, and she was entertaining us really. And she enjoyed, and at least the right side of her brain enjoyed entertaining us. You know, one hand would start unbuttoning her blouse, and the other hand would slap the hand and button up the blouse. And she said the funniest thing was when she tried to ride a bicycle, and one side of her brain wanted to go right, the other side wanted to go left, and she just wobbled back and forth. Oh. And she was just hysterical. She was funny. And she said, regardless of how devastating some people might think this condition is, it's so much better than having all those seizures and being unconscious or unable to go out of her house.
100 seizures a day. Holy cow.
So she made it quite amusing. And some of her stories are quite funny.
You know, and that's the one thing. And when you mention that, I think of a guy that was in our Lions Club. He had diabetes, and it got so bad where he started losing digits, and then his foot and everything. But he was probably the most active member in the club. And he would just say, "Yeah, I got to go to the hospital. They got a drive-through window for me now. I just go up and say, here, take whatever you need." And then he went totally blind and went to school to learn how to be blind. And the stuff that they taught him was just amazing. When he came back at the meeting, he was telling us all this stuff. It's like, Steve, I was blown away. And still, he'd sit at home and he'd be on the phone calling people all the time. God, I miss him. Miss that guy. All right. So with all these stories, actually, first of all, how long did it take you to write the book?
Well, I'd been writing it my whole
the journal
career,
part, right?
But to put it into a literary form and then I worked with an editor that, helped me refine it. Mm-hmm. I'd say it took about 18 months.
That ain't bad. How hard was it? Because I'm sure there's a lot of stories that did not make the book. How hard was that to pick out which ones you actually wanted to put in?
It wasn't very hard because I wanted to have a mixture of happy stories and sad stories, but I wanted them all to be inspiring.
Yeah.
And so, you just have your favorites. But I have many more stories, so I'll probably do more books.
That means Whispers of the Mind Part 2?
Maybe. Or I might just do a lot of stories about Prancer.
I was just going to say. There's
Prancer Tales.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
And since I play Santa professionally, I'm just going to say you have Santa's blessing for that as well, since it's the name of one of my reindeer. So
yes.
So the book just came out in August, and here we are recording this September 19th. And I don't know if you've looked, but because you mentioned epilepsy, it's number 49 in the epilepsy category as far as sales go.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't even know how to look up sales.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the bestsellers rank, it can list it by category, and it's right now, as of today, September 19th, 49 in epilepsy, 689 in medical professional biographies. That's strong. And 1393 in biology.
Huh.
So
where do you get that?
On Amazon. That's strictly on Amazon, not all the other ones, not Barnes and Noble or anything. So yeah, that's on Amazon. So those of you listening, all you got to do when you go to Amazon, or better yet, even go to Carolyn's website, which is CarolynLarkinTaylorAuthor.com, and you can find the book there. But after you purchase it, Whispers of the Mind, a Neurologist's Memoir, make sure you leave a full review, whether it be on Amazon, Goodreads, wherever you can leave reviews. Make sure you leave a full review and then purchase copies for other people, because I guarantee you're going to love it. And then when the second book comes out, Prancer's Tales, oh God, which means you're going to have to come back on again to talk about that.
Yes.
And please tell me you have a picture of Prancer to put on the cover. Oh no. Oh my God, she's gorgeous.
Isn't she gorgeous?
Oh God.
Now there is a picture of Prancer. It's not this one, but it's a picture of Prancer in the book, at the end of the book, when I did the eulogy to her. There's a picture of her.
Oh God.
Yeah. She was an incredible spirit.
Now, any plans on putting this out in audible form? Audio?
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I haven't done that yet. I have to figure out how to do that. This is all new to me.
Record it, read it while you're recording it, or record it while you're reading it. I mean, if you do it yourself, because there's really no characters in there, right? No, it's all you. It's like
it's all me talking.
Yeah, you're telling the story. So yeah, just grab your microphone and start reading it.
Okay, I'll figure out how to do that.
That's a lot. I mean, seriously, that's what a lot of authors do when it's a memoir or even a self-help book. It's a lot cheaper than paying somebody to do it. That's for sure. So since you released the book, what's been the biggest struggle for you to get the book out there? Because I know it's not easy being an entrepreneur. So what's the biggest challenge you're facing?
The biggest challenge I'm facing is things like this. I have a publicist that's, setting up things, interviews and podcasts for me, and that's not something I'm used to doing. I'm an introvert by nature, and I'm so used to talking one-to-one, though, with patients, and I've done a lot of lectures to patient groups.
Right.
So I'm good with that. And each one I do gets easier.
Yeah.
But, putting yourself out there is hard for me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I understand. Believe me, I was the same way when I first started actually in radio, which is weird because I had no problem DJing in the clubs.
Yeah.
But keep in mind, DJing in the clubs back when I did it, the bartender was always bringing me drinks. And as a neurologist, it relaxes your brain.
It does.
But when I got into radio, the first time I sat down and turned on the mic and I saw that on air light came on, I froze. And I wasn't doing interviews. I was a music DJ.
Yeah.
And my guy that got me into it, he said, "What's the matter?" I said, "Steve, there's a lot of people out there listening." He said, "So you're finding the clubs?" And I told him the same thing I just told you. He said, "Rich, look at the microphone as one person. That's all you have to do." Yeah, that microphone is one person that you're having a one-on-one on. And that helped. Yeah. That helped a lot.
Yes.
So I guess you're not doing book signings yet then, or are you?
I haven't done them yet, but I have a couple scheduled.
I think it'd be good to do in your centers too, have the books there and do some signings there.
Yeah.
And of course your public library and everything.
Yes.
So,
yes.
All right. So before I get to my last question, which I have no idea what it's going to be, is there anything you would like to add?
Oh, just that this book is for everyone, because no matter what you might be interested in, you'll find something in there that's about someone you know or someone you took care of or something that's maybe happened to you.
Yeah.
And it's in layman's terms that's easy to understand. And it's mostly a book about humanity and compassion. And there's a lot of interesting things. And it's not about teaching people neurology at all. It's really about humanity and these really inspiring people. It's the patients are the heroes of this book, Patience and Prancer.
Yeah. Sounds like it'd be a great gift for anybody.
Yes, it would be. It would be.
All right. So for my last question, I need you to pick a number between 1 and 100. And while I'm looking for that question, tell me why you picked that number.
Do you want me to tell you the number?
Well, yeah, I'm not a magician, Carolyn.
I thought you were gonna tell me what it was.
No, for that here, I'm gonna have you pick a card. No, I'm joking.
27.
27. Why 27? Where's 27?
It's the day of the month that my son was born.
Okay.
And I consider that my lucky number.
Ooh. It seems like a lot of times, and I don't even know a majority of these questions. I only know the ones that people have asked for the number so far. But it's amazing how many of these questions have aligned with what we've been talking about for each guest. And this one, I think, does. So what's a habit you've cultivated that has significantly improved your life?
Jigsaw puzzling.
Oh, come on. Are you serious?
Well, no, I'd say journaling.
Oh, okay. Well, no, that's a good one too. No, it's fun because it's funny you say that because I have a lot of good dreams at night. So I bought a journal and I keep it by my nightstand. You know how many things I have written in that journal so far? None. Nothing. Nothing. Because it's weird. I always used to have the negative thoughts all the time. And ever since I read the Secret by Rhonda Byrne.
Yes.
It's changed my mindset. I stopped watching news. And since I started this business, it's like I just keep coming up with ideas. So now if I have a dream about it, instead of writing it down in my journal, I just wake up and put the coffee on and come downstairs and start doing it. But the one thing I just started doing, and my wife gets on me about it because I haven't finished one yet, is jigsaw puzzles.
Well, I think it's a certain kind of mind that likes to do those.
Oh, to me, it's therapy.
It is. It's therapy. It uses your left and right brain.
Yeah. So
it really is good for your brain. And it I don't know, it takes patience, but it is therapeutic. It's almost like meditating because when you're doing that, you can't think of these other things that are bothering you.
Yeah, I do love meditating. I do that more than the jigsaw puzzle. But my wife had to laugh at me because I started on this one and it was hard and I didn't finish it. So instead I've always liked Thomas Kincaid, the artist.
Yes.
The artist of light, I think they call him. So I bought a jigsaw puzzle that looks like one of his. Didn't even look to see how many pieces it was. I figured it was going to be like 500 pieces. And it came in 1,000 pieces. I'm like, oh, good Lord. And my wife had to laugh at me because I bought the little box that it's separate boxes so you could put the pieces, separate the pieces in and everything. And she said to me the other day, she says, you don't even have the border done yet. I was like, I'm still sorting the pieces. It's 1,000 pieces. It's not 500 pieces. I said, don't worry about it. I'll get it done. She goes, well, you're taking up my dining room table. I said, I'll get it done. Because she did.
It's before Thanksgiving.
I better get it done before Thanksgiving. Oh, I will get it done. Carolyn, I want to thank you so much. It's been an honor and a true pleasure. And the door is open. Well, you have to come back on when you write the second book about Prancer.
Okay. It was my pleasure. And you were so easy to talk to. You really made it. You made it fun.
Oh, well, thank you. Take care. Thanks.
You too.
Thank you for listening to Conversations with Rich Bennett. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and learned something from it as I did. If you'd like to hear more conversations like this, be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. And if you have a moment, I'd love it if you could leave a review. It helps us reach more listeners and share more incredible stories. Don't forget to connect with us on social media or visit our website at conversationswithrichbennett.com for updates, giveaways, and more. Until next time, take care, be kind, and keep the conversations going. You know, it takes a lot to put a podcast together, and my sponsors help out a lot, but I also have some supporters that actually help me when it comes to the editing software, the hosting, and so forth. There's a lot that goes into putting this together. So I want to thank them. And if you can, please visit their websites, visit their businesses, support them however you can. So please visit the following. Full Circle Boards. Nobody does charcuterie like Full Circle Boards. Visit them at fullcircleboards.com. Sincerely Sawyer Photography. Live in the moment. They'll capture it. Visit them at sincerelysawyer.com. The Joppatown Lions Club, serving the community since 1965. Visit them at joppatownlionsclub.org. And don't forget the E at the end of Joppatown, because they're extraordinary.
The Harford County Health Department can help eligible pregnant women and children with low to average incomes get free health insurance through the Maryland Children's Health Program. Call 410-877-1040. That's 410-877-1040.